Time to hop on the hype train. All aboard. Toot toot. Alright, so it's no secret that I haven't necessarily been a big fan of On shoes for quite some time. This juicy On B-roll footage that you're watching right now may actually be the first that you've noticed here, as they often don't even make it through my video review gauntlet. Honestly, I've yet to have a positive experience in On shoes outside of the recent Cloud Surfer, which I'm wearing on my feet, and a review will be dropping soon. Even the On Cloud Monster, which so many reviewers loved, off-gassed so terribly that we had to air out our studio for a week and figure out how to break down the unnecessarily overkill packaging it came in by taking an unplanned $40 trip to the local dump. My parents seem to love their recent pair of On shoes, though they think they're pronounced Ox, but On just hasn't been on my go-to list for some time. When they announced the Cloudboom Echo 3, arguably On's attempt at a super shoe, I had to see if the juice matched the squeeze. So, the Cloudboom Echo 3 is an extremely snappy carbon-plated offering that features a decent stack of pibbacks and recycled midsole for a super responsive underfoot feel. The upper is a thin mesh that sports printed ink designs for added flair, thin laces, and a reinforced semi-gusseted tongue. The ride is definitely fast, but is it even comfortable? And at $290, is the On Cloudboom Echo 3 even worth it for the average runner? Hopefully we'll answer that question and more in today's review. Let's dive in.
Ginger Runner.
What is up, everyone? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another Ginger Runner review. Today I'm excited to talk about this. We're jumping on the hype train. Everyone's talking about it. It's a fresh release from On. It's the Cloudboom Echo 3. And it is a doozy of a shoe. It's not all good. We're going to talk all about that in today's review. But first, 3 quick things. Number 1, subscribe to the channel. Best way to support everything that we do here and be notified every time I upload a new video, which is every single week. 2, join the GR crew. It's a community of runners just like yourself from around the world. Link in the description. And 3, the FCC requires that all reviewers tell you where they get the product that they review. I received these shoes from On. I'm under no obligation whatsoever to say anything positive or negative about these shoes. I'm not financially compensated in any way for anything that I say in this review. No one has to approve the review. You're the first to see it. Congratulations, pat yourself on the things that need patting right on the heart. So with that out of the way, I like to talk about all the things I like and dislike about everything that I review on this channel, starting as always with the things that I like about the Cloudboom Echo 3. It's lightweight. You know, for a super shoe, you kind of want something that is in that lighter realm. At 248 grams or about 8.3 ounces, this thing is definitely in the lighter end of the scale. By no means is it a hyper light shoe, but with all of the foam and carbon plate and outsole and upper that you're getting with the shoe, that's a pretty light package. It packs a big punch in what is not necessarily a big footprint. It's good. Snap. So this is one of the qualities that sets this shoe apart, is its snap. That carbon plate is extremely snappy. The midsole is very responsive. The way that it's stacked and assembled together, you really get a lot of that momentum and energy return out of the midsole. So if you were looking for a super shoe that gives you that experience, there are a handful out there on the market, whether it's the Meta Sky or something like the Vaporfly, Litghtstrike, any of that type of product. The On is just right in there with the competition. It is just super snappy, especially under the midfoot, where a lot of that carbon plate and the cloud technology work together to provide you with that snap. You're gonna get it. It's a quick one, which lead me to fast. I mean, honestly, the shoe is a quick damn shoe. As soon as you put the shoe on and start to pick up the pace, you'll feel that sweet spot. You'll feel that moment where a midfoot strike or a forefoot strike starts to take over and the overall shoe just wants to propel you forward. I will say, with all of this tech and all of the responsiveness and snappiness of the shoe, the slower the pace, the less this shoe actually benefits you. So it's gonna benefit those who are keeping a super high cadence and high pace. The sweet spot is when your stride hits right here under the midfoot, and it just kind of keeps you moving forward and fast. I can see this being a shoe that you could get a PR in, whether that's a 5K distance or 10K distance. Anything beyond that, I'll get to in a minute. But it is a quick, snappy, fast ride. That being said, it's not all Reese's peanut butter covered animal cookies and firework displays that go boom. There are a couple of things that I dislike about the Cloudboom Echo 3. Let's get to those now. Stiff. The shoe is extremely stiff. That is the carbon plate, that is that midsole, which I did talk about as a like. There are elements of it that I do appreciate. I do appreciate a shoe that works solely as a propulsion device and an energy return device. but I just think we're dealing with something a little too stiff for my liking. And the reason is because when you strike kind of perfectly underneath your midfoot or forefoot, it just doesn't give me that absorption that I want. It is like running on a brick of concrete. I do know that in my experience with the Cloud Surfer, which I'm wearing right now, the more I ran in the shoe, the more that shoe opened up. That is what I've heard happens with On shoes, because they are designed and built in such a precise way that they really change the more you run in them. I hope that is the case with this, because right now it isn't quite as forgiving or lovable of a ride, because it is a little too stiff and a little too dense and not forgiving at all. So you really need to have your gait, your stride, everything sort of dialed in to seek the full benefits of these shoes. This is my opinion. And as someone who's definitely an average runner, this is not the super shoe that I'm gonna grab. No way. Narrow. This is another thing. The shoe is narrow right through the midfoot, through the forefoot. If you have a wider forefoot, you're not going to like these shoes. The upper is certainly thinner, and it's not going to be one of those grating, blister-causing types of meshes, but your feet might feel constrained. It feels more slipper point than comfortable upper, which, something like the Alpha or Vapor, those tend to have a lot more room in the forefoot, while also maintaining sort of a narrow platform, keeping that nimble fit. This might feel nimble at first, but it just becomes a little too precarious, and balance becomes an issue. So expect a narrow platform here. Not only platform, but upper, the whole thing. It's all narrow. Laces and materials. The laces are way too thin. They're saving weight, maybe, but man, I hate thin laces. And the materials, I don't really like this mesh upper. I don't think it allows a lot of breathability. Clearly, it's easy to print on. They have a lot of little fun graphics and stuff like that, but I just am not necessarily liking the material. It doesn't feel great to the touch, and when you have it on your foot, it just kind of makes noise. It's just, I don't know. I'm not totally into the mesh upper. I do know that On is, of course, known for their Swedish engineering and build and design and quality and durability and all that good stuff. In this case, it's just, I don't know, maybe too much without being enough, without being very adaptive. It's frustrating. And all of that to be said, price, it's $290. I am not going to be spending $290 on a shoe that feels like this underfoot. There are other shoes on the market that have a stiffer midsole, that have a carbon plate, that focus on energy, return, and propulsion. We're talking Vaporfly, Litghtstrike, Metasky. So it's not going to be the On Cloudboom Echo 3 that draws me in with that $290 price tag. It's just too much. I don't care if they gild this thing in gold and cover the whole thing in carbon fiber and shave off another 10 grams or whatever. It's just a lot of money. Not going to cut it for me. Okay, so that's it for dislikes, but let's get a bit more specific in our breakdown, where we talk about build quality, comfort, fit, price, and look. Starting with build quality. I gotta give it to On. They do a good job of building their shoes in a way that does allow them to be durable. I have now noticed Cloud Surfer, Cloudboom, Cloud Monster, they do take time to break in. That's when they become the softest and most comfortable underfoot. I'm so glad that their more recent shoes kind of did away with that stroble board exposed stiffness and now include insoles. That does allow for the build of the shoe to be a bit more on the comfortable side. So comfort, not the most comfortable shoe. I get it, it's a super shoe. It's designed to do one thing, and that's make you go fast. But holy crap, I wish it was also designed to be comfortable. It's just not for me. The longer I ran in the shoe, the more pressure I would feel underneath that midfoot. Just the impact of that carbon plate and that super dense Pebax recycled midsole, it just was like not honey in a hive. It was a bit concrete. Fit, narrow, precise fit. The laces are thin, so when you really tighten this thing down, you'll begin to feel those individual laces sort of cut across the top of the foot. Just be careful with that. Know that that's definitely a side effect. I don't necessarily like the narrowness. I understand what they're going for in a very light package. They're elite runners. The front of the pack runners are going to probably love something like this. It just feels more slipper-like, or almost like a track shoe versus an overall long-distance running shoe. But for me, the fit was just, I don't know, a little too precision. Price, $290. I don't have to talk anymore about it. It's just too much. And looks. I dig it. I don't mind that they have this mesh upper and they're able to print on it. So that's what they did. They have like little fun graphic design markers and stuff on here when they're building out templates, and they have a color gradient. I don't mind all that kind of stuff. It's a fun look, and they're able to get really, really creative with the print on designs. I think it's pretty simplistic. So I don't know. hurt my eyes. That's good. Bringing us ultimately to my conclusion. I'm not totally sold on the Cloudboom Echo 3, especially at $290. The ride is definitely focused more on the responsive, energy propulsive end of things. If you are not into a ride that is pretty abrasive at first, if not the entire lifespan of the shoe, you're probably not going to feel quite at home in the Cloudboom. For me, I like something that has a bit more give, not necessarily more underfoot. It can have less, but it just needs to be able to absorb my energy a bit better and then propel me forward. Right here, it feels like I'm fighting this shoe in multiple facets of my speed work. And with other products out on the market, which I've already mentioned in this review, at lower price points, I just would rather lean towards them. This is just a little too much for me. Bottom line, you might get a 5K PR out of this. You might get a 10K PR. But you might not be able to afford the beers to celebrate. It's a lot of money for something that, I don't know, just doesn't seem to want to sit right with my feet. That's where I'm at. Bringing us to the final criteria, is the Cloudboom Echo 3 a buy, try, or a why? By now, you probably already know, and I'll make this quite quick. It's a why. Not really hitting all the marks for me. There are other shoes that I will grab, and I will have to put this on the shelf for later. So the table now turns to you, my friends. Have you run in the Cloudboom Echo 3? Is this a shoe that you're keeping your eye on? There's a lot of hype around it. There are people who seem to really, really like it. I am not one of them, so I'm curious if you do like it. Why? What is it about this shoe that gets you all excited? Are you setting PRs in it, and I'm just ridiculously crazy for not thinking it's the next coming? Because I'm not there at all. However, I do have the review of the On Cloud Surfer, which was the first shoe that I've gotten from On in years that has surprised me in a positive way. So a little bit of a spoiler there, but we have lots of reviews coming down the pike, so I hope that you subscribe and join the GR crew, link in the description, and do all that good stuff. If you would like to get a pair or find out more information about the Cloudboom Echo 3, I have a link in the description. We'll take you over to Running Warehouse. It's an affiliate link. All the links down there, affiliate link-wise, do support the channel. Please consider using them. Join the GR crew, all that good stuff, and that's it. Thanks, everyone. We hope you're getting out there training hard, racing harder, and partying the hardest. I know I am. We'll see you guys next week for more fun. Bye-bye. Ginger Run.